Hi, this is Robert Clinky-Beard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. We're going to take 20 minutes to deliver some amazing content from accomplished leaders and business owners to provide you with some value to scale your business and to become a better leader and push yourself out of your comfort zone. We encourage you to like and share with everyone to spread our messages. I'm super excited to announce our new partnership with Weathermatic. For most landscape companies, irrigation is an untapped gold mine for growth and profit, but labor and process problems stand in the way. So Weathermatic has created a partnership to package mobile technology and software with proven business solutions to tackle the perennial irrigation challenges and take your operations to a whole new level. I encourage you to reach out to Weathermatic and learn more. Cheers, everyone. Hi, this is Robert Clinky-Beard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. I'm super excited again to be joined by Mike Mason. Mike, really good to see you again.
Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. It was great to see you in Dallas a few weeks ago at the Elevate conference. You were looking great
Beautiful
there.
time.
Yeah.
Beautiful time. A lot of fun. A lot of good friends and good customers.
Absolutely. So Mike is CEO, owner of several businesses in the landscape industry, Weathermatic, Unlimited Labor, Water Engineering Services, Unlimited Housing Solutions, SmartLink Network. You're a busy guy, Mike.
Hey, you know what? What is that old saying says? If you're waiting on me, you're walking backwards.
I love that. I mean, you've been an entrepreneur the whole life. I know your
Forever.
family's involved in your different businesses. I mean, I think
I'm the luckiest guy in the world, Robert. I am. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I get to wake up every day to a beautiful wife that I've been married to for 35 years. I get to go to work with all three of my amazing sons that are just incredible men of character, and they have the work ethic, integrity, just all of it. It's a blessed life.
That's awesome. We've had conversations in the past on podcasts or different stuff, discussions we've had, but, we're obviously, health has come up quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
You obviously know my background with rugby, with Ironman races and all that type of stuff. And I know you've typically been...
I'm very jealous, very jealous.
Complimentary of that. So, maybe there's a bit of craziness in there in my mind, but I couldn't believe how great you looked in Dallas.
Are you flirting with me, Robert?
I've got a little bit of a man crush, maybe.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a transformation the last time you saw me a year ago until the other day when we ran into each other.
I mean, joking aside, I really do appreciate people who do take care of themselves, because I think there's a real relation between being successful in business, but that part of that is being disciplined,
absolutely,
looking after yourself, just having that clear mind. I think you have a picture that you wanted to share. I twisted your arm to share because you were a bit
well, the funny thing is, I had to get permission from my wife first to show it. So here, let me see if y'all can see this of me and my wife. So let me get it in the screen.
Yeah, right there.
So that's like 3 years ago. My wife weighed 170 pounds, and there is me tapping in at about 340, maybe even 345. Unbelievable.
And you said that was 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Well, for her, it was 3 years ago. 335. I weighed 335, 340 then, but I made the she started on this health regime then. I just started about, I guess, February of this year. But the transformation has been unbelievable. But watching her be the example, I mean, honest to God, I saw her transform back to the lady at the size that we got married. I think she's more beautiful today than the day we got married.
I love that. And I'm actually going to share some pictures as well, or certainly one picture to start with, just to really show the difference. So,
wow, that's even shocking when I see it, Robert. When I look at that, it's shocking to me. So that was in February. The big face is in February, and the other one is current. And I went from 333 pounds down to just under 270 in a very quick amount of time. And I didn't do any crazy fad diet. I didn't do any, all meat, no Atkins, none of that stuff. I just bumped it. I had the blessing of meeting someone that changed my life and taught me how to eat. Robert, to be totally transparent, exactly what you said when we started off about discipline in business and discipline in life. When I was in high school and college, I was a bodybuilder. I was a really good athlete, very blessed to be super athletic. I was always kind of I was MVP of the football team. Well, I was the most valuable lineman, but then also one of the top players on the team, and had the opportunity to play a lot of great sports sports and meant a lot to me. I was in super shape, great runner, all that kind of good stuff. But when I got into the business world, Robert, I changed. I took all of that. I mean, I literally won when I was in college. I won this thing called Anchor Splash, where, everybody on campus votes for somebody who's the kind of the best looking in their bathing suit or whatever. And, I was the pick for our fraternity. And so I go up and I, show the muscles and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I was in really good shape. But when I graduated from college, Robert, honest to God, I shifted all of that attention that I'd always used on athletics and staying in shape. I focused on my career. And it was almost like I shut down the health side of my life. I focused on my family, my kids, my career, everything. But the one thing I ignored was my personal health. And it took a toll. It took a bad toll. I graduated from college when I weighed 236 pounds. I had a 36-inch waist, 21-inch biceps. I mean, I was bad to the bone, and then became more meat than bone after that. So I gained up to as high as, at one time, I hate to even admit this, but I got all the way to 365 pounds. I had bariatric surgery. I tried every diet in the world, every one, never successful. Had bariatric surgery, lost from 365 all the way down to 260. And then in a matter of less than a year and a half, I gained all the way back to 345. Just heartbreaking that I put myself through that. But I still had all these demons inside of being addicted to carbohydrates, just really not knowing how to eat, always running behind. As you said, I own several businesses, and, so I'm always very busy, and I would stop and get fast food because it was the easiest thing to do. And I never planned my schedule, and I entertained 5 to 6 nights a week, just a bad pattern. And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people in our industry that are suffering from this as well. It seems like we've either got the super fit like you or the super fat like me. And, it's a battle, but thank God I transitioned and have made a big change.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're right. Between rushing around, traveling itself, traveling.
Oh, travel's
flights,
nightmare.
Cars, whatever that travel is, staying in hotels. As you say, that finding that convenient food, typically not the best.
Robert, you would laugh if you travel with me now, because when I travel now, I've got my health bars in my briefcase. I carry almonds with me everywhere I go. I have at least 2 to 3 apples in my briefcase at all times. Whenever I'm traveling, I pre-select a meal. I carry one on board with me that I get if there's a healthy restaurant, and it's just transformative. And I'm not joking. Now, I swear this is true. I was eating a steak 5 nights a week. 5 nights, best steak I could get. Now, when I was a kid, I have to admit, life was very different. I love my parents. They're the best in the world. But when we never went out to eat ever, never. Couldn't afford it, quite candidly. And on the blue moon that we get to go out, the first thing that would happen is you can't have this, you can't have that. You're going to have to, split a steak with your sister, that kind of thing if we did. And I said at that moment, I said, someday when I get older, I'm going to buy the best freaking steak that money can buy whenever I go out. I'm going to get the biggest potato. And I'm telling you, I did it. When I got to a certain level of success in my life, I equated success with the ability to order anything I wanted. And I became a consummate entertainer. Like, everybody wants to go out to eat with Mike because guess what? We have fun. We're going to have the best food, best wine, best drinks at the best restaurant. So my identity became the guy you want to go out to eat with. Right. And so I was truly killing myself.
No, I could totally see that, especially when, as you say, you grew up a certain way and you had that mindset about what success looked like.
Yes.
There's so many different averages I can go down now, but how are you doing now at work? Are you easier? Do you get more clarity at work? You feel less tired?
Ooh.
Talk through what it looks like on a daily basis.
So, Robert, I think it'd be better if we back up and talk about what I did that made the change, because then it'll make more sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't mean to get emotional here because I could start crying, because I'm a crier, baby. I got to be careful.
Do you have any tissues nearby?
I do, baby. I've got them somewhere around here. But hey, listen. So it was February of this year. I was leaving. I went to my doctor, who's a dear friend of mine. He's been my doctor for 20 years. And I go in to meet him and we do the blood work. He checks me out. I'm weighing about 335, I think. And he kind of looks at me. He goes, damn, Mike. He goes, I don't know if I even want to be your doctor anymore. He goes, you got the best freaking life of anybody I know. You've got an amazing family, a gorgeous wife. You are the happiest couple I know. And he goes, and yet you're killing yourself by the way you're eating. He goes, I don't know what to tell you. I almost died from COVID. I don't know if I told you that, but I got COVID about right when it first came out. And I literally was on the fringe of death. I mean, my oxygen level dropped into the low 70s. I was suffocating. And a friend of mine told me, if you go to the hospital, they're going to put you on a ventilator and you're going to die. You better not go. I put on my CPAP machine. Thank God I had one. And I stayed on that until my oxygen level came back up. But there were moments where my wife and I were in tears, crying and just praying, Lord God, save me. And luckily he did. And so progressing forward, I now, a couple of years later, I go to the doctor and he tells me, he goes, okay, congratulations. You're now a diabetic. He goes, God almighty, Mason, what's it going to take for you to freaking wake up, man? He goes, you got to stop. You're killing yourself. So I walk out of there and he gives me a prescription, tells me what to take. And I started reading the freaking side effects. And it read like a guaranteed death. You know, your liver is going to die. Your kidneys are going to die when you take this medication. Expect blindness. I mean, it was just horrific. I pulled there on the side of the road and I began to weep. I was just crying. And I said, God, I am so tired of being addicted to food. I am so tired of being a slave to this. Give me freedom from it. I call my wife and my sister-in-law, who's like one of my best friends. Now, listen to this. My wife's name is Happy, like happy birthday. And my sister-in-law's name is Muffet. So I call Happy and Muffet. I get them on the phone at the same time. And I say, girls, I'm in trouble. I'm now a diabetic. I was on, and I'm not joking, Robert, I was on 3 blood pressure medicines already, and they were looking for a 4th. They said, we don't even have anything for this. I was in so much pain. To get up in the morning, I'd roll out of bed, and I'm hurting from head to toe. And, I'm just having neuropathy, pain from the eating and the arthritis and everything. And I'm miserable. But then I put that face on, like that good salesman that I am, and I fake it. And I go through the day trying to make everybody think that Mike is good, and I'm physically dying. I call my wife and my sister-in-law and I say, guys, I'm in trouble. I need help. I can't just go on a diet. I've got to go somewhere. I've got to move in somewhere, and I've got to change. I've got to do something that gives me a jump start that allows me to get a head start, because I've got to see progress or I won't stick with it. And they started doing some research and they found this place called the Eat to Live Retreat in San Diego, California, that's being run by a gentleman by the name of Dr. Joel Furman, incredibly successful nutritionist, probably the world's best. He's the guy that set up the Whole Foods nutritional platform for John Mackey here in Texas. And he's written probably 10 or so bestsellers on nutrition. He's considered the global specialist. I find out that this guy actually has a home where he can accommodate about 10 people a month to move into his home / facility. It's a home.
Right.
Now, he has a home next door, but the 10 couples or 10 people stay right next door in this gorgeous home, pool, hot tub in the mountains of San Diego. It's so freaking gorgeous. It's insane. And you can move in for a month up to 4 months. And while you're there, they basically retrain you on how to eat, how to think about eating, and teach you about the process. And so literally called. I said, I've got to come. They said, we don't have an opening for 6 months. I said, do me a favor. I'm going to go ahead and pay my deposit. And I just want you to call me when somebody cancels. And she said, nobody ever cancels. That doesn't happen. It's too expensive and blah, 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 blah. But guess what? I get a call back 2 weeks later and they say, hey, look, 1 in a million, somebody canceled, but you'd have to be here March the 1st. And I said, I'll be there. I had all kinds of stuff planned. With my calendar, Robert, you know me, I'm so busy, it's insane.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't care. I call my sons, each one of them who runs a different company or different division. I said, guys, I got to do it. And they were all going, yes, Dad, you've got to do it. Stop. We'll handle it. 2 weeks later, I'm in San Diego, California, in a health farm, and my life is changing. And they started teaching me about nutrition, things I did not know. And honest to God, I was so ignorant. Do you mind if I just give you one quick thing, Robert?
Go for it.
So let me give you an example. Have you ever gone, and Robert, I'm asking this a question. Have you ever gone out for a meal and you have a big steak, potato, bread, all this kind of stuff, and then you get home and you still feel hungry, but you're so freaking stuffed and you're going, why am I hungry?
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
All the time. And then especially I need something sweet.
Yeah.
That's usually my weakness.
So I find out that it's not that I'm hungry, but my body is craving nutrition. And then until you satisfy the nutrition, you can't stop being hungry. And the only way to solve the nutritional problem is stop eating heavy, dense, low nutrition foods that are high in calories, low in nutrition, and it takes your body a long time to process it out. If you will eat high nutrition foods that are super light density that your body can process out, one, you're not hungry. Two, it's super low calorie. And three, it inspires your immune system to kick in and all of your body functions begin to function. So let me give you an example. I never had to cut my fingernails and I rarely cut my hair because honestly, my body was shutting down. Now that I've changed to where I eat 90%, let's say 85% vegetables like kale, spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, onions, mushrooms, things like that. I eat about 10% salmon or shrimp and then, probably 5 or 10% fruit. Now that I do that religiously, my God, my hair's growing like crazy. Look at my hair, man. I'm a 60-year-old man. I've got more hair than well, that's not working hard, baby. But I've got hair. My fingernails grow. I'm having to clip my fingernails 2 to 3 times a week. There's some other things that work better that we won't discuss on this podcast, but let's just put it for a 60-year-old man, there are things that function better that we will not discuss, and that is very private.
I love it. So lots of vegetables, salmon, shrimp. I mean, people listening to the show think, well, that doesn't sound very satisfying to me. It's not going to satisfy my appetite. So talk through that concern from some of the listeners.
The first thing I do in the morning is my beautiful, wonderful wife, who I owe so much of this to her, who started the process before me, showed me that it worked and then got me to do it and supports me in it. But I get up in the morning and I drink a green drink that is, a pretty good size green drink. And it's got probably a mass of, like, I'm talking about 2 or 3 handfuls of, spinach, 2 or 3 handfuls of kale, a little bit of broccoli, and then 3 different types of seeds she puts in there. And then she puts a little bit of almond milk. Then, of course, the mango and blueberries. So it kills that kind of greeny taste and it tastes sweet as ever.
Right.
She blends that up in one of these $5,000 blenders. I'm joking, but it was like almost $1,000, whatever the dang thing cost. But it sounds like you're cranking up an airplane engine every morning. And she blends that up, pours it in a green drink. It's about probably 12 ounces. And I drink it. And when I'm finished, I couldn't put anything else in it. So filling because it's thick. And I love the taste of it because of the mango and the blueberry. That's all you taste. I have a small cup of oatmeal. It's all organic. And then that fills me up until lunch. By doing that, it sets you off in such the right manner. Your energy level goes up, your acuity, your mental acuity goes through the roof. I don't want my boys to hear this, so I hope they don't hear this, but I play golf probably 4 days a week in the afternoons. And by the way, Lex, Elliot, and Ben, please don't listen to this.
You're doing business development.
I sneak out in the afternoon. Hey, I get up at the crack of dawn. I'm at work when everybody else is still in the bed. And so I try to get in about 2 hours of work while everybody else is still in the bed.
Right.
So I get up in the morning, I do my exercise, I then have my green drink, I go to work. At lunch, I'll have a massive salad, and I'll usually put salmon on it. And then, if I order a Caesar salad, and I say light on the dressing to the side, and I'll just barely touch a little bit of it in there. But I found that the key is if you'll include citrus and fruit on your salad with a little bit of nuts like almonds or cashews, then it's so filling and so tasty that it fills you up and you feel great. Your energy is high. You're feeling great. And then if I get hungry in the afternoons or in between meals, I'll just eat a handful of cashews, a handful of almonds, and then just move on. And then now, instead of eating tortilla chips before the meal, I ask for a plate of broccoli and raw veggies with hummus. And so it's really just kind of boiling down to just make better decisions. But the key part is I am no longer craving food all the time because I'm getting the nutrition. And that, of all the things that I learned, that was the number one thing, that if you nuke your body with nutrition, you will not be hungry. You will not crave food. My biggest struggle now is late at night when I'm restless and I'm nervous because I'm just, God almighty, I'm like a tiger trying to find somewhere to go. So I'm just always geared up, ready. I'm ready to conquer the next battle. That's just who I am. And so I feel like going to bed is like quitting, and it just drives me crazy. I don't want to go to sleep. I fight it. I don't want to go to bed. There's something else I can do. What can I do? What can I read? Is there a book I need to be reading, Robert? But is Robert still up? Should I call Robert at 12 o'clock at night and see what he's doing? But anyway, that's what I do. I try to fight that urge at night by eating almonds or cashews or raw veggies, go to bed. And if I get the sleep and the nutrition, then I beat 90% of the problem, and the results have been incredible. So I know I'm talking too much, but let me just share this with you. I was on 3 blood pressure medicines and they were looking for a 4th. They had just diagnosed me diabetic and gave me this Enzymbic medication to take. I was on super high ibuprofen to try to kill some of the pain. I was on testosterone shots. So I'm on like 8 medications. I go to this freaking retreat, Robert. I get there and everybody is worse than me. And I'm going, oh my God. A guy shows up, 80 years old. It took him 15 minutes to walk from the car to the facility, and it's only 100 yards away. He gets inside. He's listless. Hey, my name is so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And he walks off. He reintroduces himself to me like 5 minutes later. I'm going, the guy doesn't even freaking know he just met me. He's just listless. He's taking 6 insulin shots a day. 6.
Wow.
30 freaking days later, that dude lost 30 pounds. He's off of all of his diabetic medication. He's swimming in the freaking pool and walking about a mile a day. He's 80 years old. This guy, I stay in touch with him now. We talk all the time. This guy is incredible. He's swimming, he's walking, he's doing great, and he's off of all that crap. All of it. I'm off of all medication. Done.
You said you just went to the doctors recently, and again, he just couldn't believe the condition you're in.
My A1C now is in normal range. It's like, I think it's 5.8 is what it was this morning. My blood pressure was 124/72. My weight, I picked up probably 3 pounds because you remember I just had my big birthday party that you missed, by the way.
Congratulations on your 60th.
60th birthday party for me and my wife. We had a small party, about 300 of our closest friends and a band. And it was crazier than crazy. It was so much fun. But long story short, man, I had the best health report I've had in years and years and years. I feel great. I look a lot better. That's for dang sure. And my ability to do business now is multiple fold better.
This is a great story. And I'm actually going to share another picture of you and your lovely wife.
Oh, wow. That's a great picture there.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to tell you. So that picture on the right was like, you can tell my clothes are still hanging out in the background. Thank God there wasn't anything bad back there. But that was when I dropped from 330 to 280. I lost, let's see, in the month and a half that I was on the diet exclusively hardcore, I dropped 45 pounds, a pound a day. The one on the left was after we got back and we went out, one of our first dinners out, which you have to be careful now having dinner because you've got to call before, figure out what you can have.
That must be tough, just trying to plan a little bit ahead in terms of trying to keep to a regime, but be tempted by everything around you. Yeah,
that's the hardest part. So what I did though is I called every restaurant that we go to. I told them what I'd done, and they all said, oh, this is what you need to order, and this is how you need to order it when you get here, and just make sure they tell us. In every single place that I go to, I'm talking about even my lunch places around the office, they're helping me and they're doing it. It's amazing how kind people will be when they know. And I always keep one of those pictures. Do you have that other picture of my face before and after? I think you may have already shown that, but all I do, I carry that around like my driver's license. That one right there, I carry that around like my driver's license, and I show it at every restaurant. And I say, this is why I'm being such a jerk about how I'm ordering. And they go, hey, dude, keep it up. You look great. So
no,
and plus awesome. I tip well, so that always helps.
That helps. And I mean, you're probably seeing some benefits in terms of, you mentioned how you work out in the morning. I mentioned I just finished my half Ironman, and losing a little bit of weight allows you to work out a little bit harder.
Yep.
You may be walking, running a little bit harder.
Yeah, I could hardly walk. I could hardly walk when I started. I was hurting so badly. In fact, I found out that animal fat, animal protein, that it creates arthritis and it creates stiffness, and that fat and stuff that's in there, it gets in your joints and it causes accelerated arthritis and pain. And I didn't believe it. I'm one of the guys that said, oh, hell no, steaks are great, but it just wasn't true. In fact, how the doctor convinced me? He said, what's the most muscular animal in the jungle? What would you say it is, Robert?
Gorilla.
That's exactly right. What does he eat?
He's plants.
He never eats any meat. He only eats plant-based diet. And I thought that there was no protein in plant, but it's not true. In fact, the doctor said that a lot of the information that we get from the current nutritional groups is a lie. He's going, it's like fake news. He goes, it's just not true. Look at your gorillas. Look at animals that are very vegetable forward. He goes, it's just not true. You can eat like this. And this guy's like 72 years old. He looks like he's 30. I mean, he's got a six-pack. He's ripped. He never eats any meat whatsoever. I can't do that. I'm still struggling. I have to have salmon and shrimp.
Right. Yeah.
But his mother's like 90. His mother's 96. She looks like she's probably 70. His mother-in-law is 94. She looks like she's about 70. I mean, everybody in his family does this. They're all super healthy, looking great. His name is Dr. Joel Fuhrman. He has a podcast. The book, Eat to Live, if you can see this, I don't know if you can see that, Eat to Live, by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. It's incredible. I'm telling you, if anybody wants one, I've got about 30 copies that still remain. I'd be glad if anybody wants to send me their name, I'll mail them the book until I run out. But I'd probably still send it to them anyway when I run out. But it'd be my blessing, my honor to do it.
No, I mean, great story. And that's why I thought it'd be important for you to come on a show, to not only share your story, but I go to a lot of these events and you see a lot of people that are either stressed or unhealthy, maybe overweight, and they're trying to juggle work, they're trying to keep that balance. And I think, as you say, if you get that nutrition part right, that corrects a lot of other things in your life. A couple of things that was interesting, and we could go down this path, but I know we're running out of time. But in terms of, I think media, unfortunately, does play a big part in educating people. I think, drug companies also have a lot to answer for.
He has a lot of information on the pharmaceutical companies that would scare you to death, that scared me and my wife to death, that I could not believe. A lot of people are taking these weight loss shots now, the Ozempics and stuff like that. Now, I don't know if it's, because I don't want to get sued. But candidly, if what he's telling you is right about that the weight that you lose when you take those shots is lean muscle mass and not fat, and it directly affects your heart. I'm just telling you, I know this. Fads don't work. We need to eat the way God created us, which is fruits and vegetables and limited meat. I mean, think about the old days, Robert. When you lived on a farm, if you got meat, it was a rarity because you couldn't eat meat all the time because they, just not available. And so if you had meat, it was like on a holiday, on an occasion, or, you slaughtered the calf or whatever it is, you just didn't eat that much. You ate mostly fruits and vegetables.
No, I'm just about to embark on actually moving into my farm and producing our own food and animals and all that stuff. So we're super excited about that. Mike, I know, there's obviously not everybody can, go to, a clinic and spend a week or a month. What would you recommend to at least explore?
First thing I do is I'd get his book, Eat to Live. There's two books, Eat to Live and Eat for Life. And I would also listen to Joel Fuhrman's podcast. He's got a great podcast where he talks about all these issues. The guy has the bedside manner of a WWF wrestler, but he's so freaking brilliant. He's hard as gold, and he is so passionate about helping people. I love him. He's a friend of mine now. He and I become, most of the people that I meet, we generally become friends. And so I love him to death. He's such an important part of my life now. And I would just say, get the book and be logical. Just be freaking logical. Think about it. If a gorilla is the muscular animal in the jungle, he's plant-based, it just makes sense. I mean, remember this one thing. If you feed yourself great nutrition and you stay away from the non-nutritious, zero nutritional value stuff that's high in calorie, that just makes sense. Experience that satisfaction of not being hungry. And by the way, these people that are doing the intermittent fasting, there's outside of nutrition, there's probably not much more you can do better for yourself than to have intermittent fasting. He showed us the statistics on it, showed us all the material. It's insane how good intermittent fasting is. In fact, when we were at the camp, we would eat at 6. We didn't eat again till 8. You didn't snack in between meals. And he shows you what it does for you. And it's really real. Right. But I would just say this. I'm going to close with this because I don't want to talk too terribly much. You can tell I'm excited about this. I love it. But guys, whoever's listening to this, you're looking at a guy that was literally, my doctor said, if you live another 18 months without a stroke or a heart attack, it'll be a miracle. And now I just get back and he tells me, you're the best I've seen you in 20 years. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. All it takes is to do the right thing. Don't chase fads. Don't chase prescriptions that you know in your heart of hearts are not the right thing to do. Quick fixes don't work. The only thing that works is to do how God created us to live. Heavy on the vegetables, light, sunny, well, mid-light on fruit, because you don't want to just tank yourself with fruit. Stay away from the things that you know are high calorie, that have low nutritional value, and get some movement in your life. Now, Robert is the Iron Man. I do 20 to 30 minutes on the elliptical. That's all I do. And I'm healthy as a horse now. Lord,
awesome.
let it be so. Let it be so.
That's awesome. Well,
but Robert, thank you for giving me this venue to talk about this. You're the sweetest guy. I love you to death. And thank you for letting me talk about it.
I'm happy you're going to be around for a few more years, many more years.
You got me for a little longer, baby.
And your family, most importantly, they're obviously, they're super excited, I'm sure, as well. So
they are.
Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you to your wife for letting me
show the pictures,
how great she looks, and I look forward to talking to you again soon, Mike.
All right, God bless, my friend. Thank you so much. God and bless. Everybody, eat to live, my friends. Eat to live.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Great message. Hopefully that was pure dead brilliant to you, and you got some great takeaways for your business or your leadership role. This is Robert Clinkybeard, and I'd love to get you and your friends to join us in a future journey. So please subscribe to the various podcast channels or visit the commerciallandscaper.com or wilson360.com. Big thank you again to our partner Weathermatic, and I really encourage you to reach out to them and see about irrigation solutions or partnership with them. Hopefully you have a pure, dead, brilliant day. Cheers, everyone.